What's up, everyone? Jordan Angeli here. Welcome to your Monday night NWSL Live. So excited to be here with you guys. As always, we're going to recap the last week in NWSL action. There's a lot to talk about, and I can't do it alone. So I'm going to bring Jeff Kassouf in with me. And Jeff, we have someone pinch hitting, I think would be an appropriate term, joining us also today. You want to give people some hints on the guest?
I know. I tweeted it as a surprise guest because she hadn't yet
Ooh.
tweeted it, so I didn't know if we were building the suspense. But I hope our viewers of this show would obviously be familiar with our special guest number one, if they're
Yeah,
watching the
right?
league.
I know two guests today. We're seeing some hellos in the chat. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining in on the chat. And Jeff, it's just not the same when it's just you and me. Lori Lindsey couldn't make it today. So we are bringing in our guest of honor, Jenn Hildreth. Jenn, what's going on? How are you? Yes, we're excited to have you. One of the things that when I was, doing all my work here, Jenn, to make sure you have a proper introduction. First off, I have to say, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
What a great day to celebrate. You're choosing to be with us, so I think your husband knows what you love to do as well.
Committed to the
He
game.
does.
Yeah, committed.
18 years, guys. 18 years.
Gosh,
Yeah.
you love to hear it. Congratulations. That's awesome. Secondly, 7 years calling NWSL games. Is that real?
I mean, I guess if you say so, but yeah, no, it's funny looking back sometimes. And sometimes I'll say I've been there since the beginning, and then I realize maybe I didn't that first year. I actually didn't. I just feel like I was. But yeah, no, it's been so awesome to just be a part of this. I mean, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing right now. You know, NWSL is happening. I want to be calling it. So I am thrilled to be back.
Yeah. And I called you our pinch hitter because you're calling softball right now too. You've got your whole
Yeah.
setup just pushed to the side so you can come and join NWSL action tonight. So excited to have you along as we're going to talk about everything that happened in this last week, or really a little over a week of NWSL action, because there's been some teams we've seen multiple times now, some teams we've only seen once. So I think we need to get into the nitty gritty. And one of the segments that we love to do here is our segment, just want to know how hyped you are about things. So we're going to get into it right now and get to a few questions I have for both of you.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. So first we're going to start with a team. We know we're hyped about the rebrand and Gotham FC coming in. Here's our hyped. I love this hyped graphic. Coming in with some dancing in the background. Gotham FC coming in, and I want to know, Jeff, how on Gotham's build-up play?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, Jeff. 1 second. We're all these graphics in. but it is not the hotspot. You can hear me. Give me a what's up, Jordan, in the chat.
I don't
Let's see if
want
that
Jordan
works.
to take all the blame here.
And I'm not even seeing the chat move, so I'm a little worried about the chat here. We're losing people.
Oh no, Jordan. I don't think it's your internet this time though, which is good.
Okay, it's not my internet, you guys. You gave me such a hard time last week about my internet that I got a direct plug-in this week. I wasn't going to be that Wi-Fi person again. Okay, I got a what's up. You're good. We can hear you now. They want me to upgrade, Jeff. I know.
Me.
All right, we're going to get Jenn back in here in a second, but we're going to go straight into what we were talking about, Jeff, because I think it's what you were saying about Gotham. You're liking their combination play. You were saying you're hyped about it. So tell me what it is. What do you like about it?
A good team goal. I love that. Half dozen passes to build up to that. And if you look at how they came, it's a little bit direct, but 6-7 passes up that right flank of Gotham, up that left flank of Orlando that they broke down. And it's just vertical combination. 1-2 started out of there, I think, with from inside their own 18, and eventually leads to this wide play. A simple cross into Paige Monahan, and then the finish. It doesn't maybe jump out to you as much as a highlight reel goal, but from a building perspective for a team that we're looking at quite often here of what are they going to do this year, I think that's an encouraging sign.
And it's interesting to me because we've been talking for a while. I'm getting text messages from Jenn right now as she's trying to get back in. So hopefully we can get Jenn back in. We've been talking a while about how Gotham can be the team who wants to play and they want to build up. This was that exact example that you and Lori have been talking about really for the last 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, I think, eyes on that midfield, obviously, unfortunately we didn't get to see McCall Zerboni in there in this time around. But, I think a good start for Gotham. We've got, we will see, and we're going to get to future games later in the show here, but we'll see what that looks like against North Carolina. I think probably the biggest test of the group stage for Gotham and really anybody in the East there. So, encouraging start. Obviously the missed penalty earlier in the game that we'll talk about. It could have been 1-0 earlier in that match, but I think if you're Gotham, you're encouraged by that start. You're happy with it, and that goal specifically, I think maybe you're hoping is a microcosm and a springboard of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're back in. We're working with our parts here, you guys. Twitch is amazing. I love it, and we're still learning a few things as we transition into this new space. So thank you guys for sticking along. And it's when my Wi-Fi one week, it's something else the next. But you guys have been the best. So, all right, Jeff. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see if we have the thumbs up from our producer for the next graphic. We're gonna try this to go into the next question I have for you is about Portland. Perfect start. Should we get hyped about this?
Yeah, look, I think, you look at the shorthanded roster that they had to begin with, and then obviously in that second game from fallout of the first game. And I think you have to be happy with 6 points because, you're looking at, especially the way the results shook out after that, everybody's chasing you now in the West. So, I think Portland has to be happy with that. Obviously some reinforcements now come in for the next few weeks, at least, of this Challenge Cup. And so I think from a points perspective, obviously best case scenario, and, maybe a little bit, I don't know if battered and bruised a little bit getting through those games, but, had to persevere a little bit. But, I think 3 points on the road against Chicago, obviously always huge.
You guys, I think we're back in action. Hold on, Jenn. Hold on.
This was Jenn's segment.
Yeah, I was texting Jenn during that. If you saw me looking down, I was like, Jenn, where did you go? No, it's not you. Don't worry. We're gonna try to get Jenn back in here into the full screen. as we're talking a little bit about Portland. Jenn sent me a picture of everybody else was just black X's and then her. So we're working through it here today. That's okay. So, Jeff, the thing that I think is most interesting when we first knew that these international absences were going to line up with the start of the Challenge Cup here in 2021, we questioned what the Portland Thorns would look like. And I think if you're now the Thorns and you're sitting here with 6 points, you have to be pretty pleased with the depth of your squad, knowing that you are going to have some players coming back. You know what, Jeff, you stop talking for a second. I'm going to give that to Jenn.
Oh, hey, okay, I'll jump in. Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. It might have been me. Who knows? All right, but Portland, yes. I think watching these first round of games, and a couple of teams obviously have played 2 games to this point, I think that Portland, to me, and obviously they have the results to speak for it, but they look like the team that still looked as close to a level as we would expect to see in terms of their attack and their all-around play, more so than any other team missing their internationals. And what's most impressive about that is when you consider who they're missing and who they're about to get back. That's what I think is really scary, to be quite honest, for the rest of the league. I think right now the West is theirs to lose. I do think that this game this week against OL Reign is going to be probably the biggest one in terms of deciding that division. And I think, what is Crystal Dunn going to look like in ad?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get Horan and Sinclair and Sauerbrunn and Smith. I mean, they looked good without that incredible group. So I think Portland off to a very good start. Now, they haven't been gangbusters and scoring a ton of goals, but they do have the 2 results so far.
So I'm looking at the chat, and Shinto1314 said Portland's tournament to lose. So they agree with you there. And Jeff, I'm going to throw it to you. We talked a lot about this, about Megan Klingenberg playing in the midfield. Well, that midfield gets a little bit more crowded when those players come back. Do you think she sticks there? She stays on the field, but she just moves back into maybe a more traditional spot for her?
Yeah, certainly stays on the field. I mean, I think, Jenn touched on it. I'm interested to see, where exactly is Crystal Dunn going to play, and that's probably a season-long type of answer that's needed, not necessarily a single day answer, but it'll be a crowded front 6, as we've talked about, and I think we've already seen across their 2 games, just from necessity, that they're willing to move some pieces around. And I think you look at Kuika, they've specifically brought in versatile players to account for this.
Yeah. We got another comment saying Surfer Dude 24 said Crystal Dunn can play anywhere, which makes me think, Jenn, what's your favorite position to see Crystal Dunn play?
I like her near the goal, to be quite honest with you. She's a tremendous defender, and she can stop people in their tracks, and she obviously still gets into the attack, but I think she is so dangerous, and we need in this league right now more players who are going to be dangerous inside the 18. There's too much that's happening between the 18s. We need more goals. We need more offense. I'm on my soapbox.
Yeah.
I like Crystal Dunn up front.
Yeah, I like that. Jeff, you gonna fight that, or are you gonna go with it too?
I won't go on a defender rant today. I like good defense.
I can just say from experience, I was on Crystal Dunn's team in Washington. She is one of the hardest players to defend in training when she is close to the goal, because she is so agile and quick on the turn. So I think it's hard to put her anywhere but up front. We know she can play anywhere. She's proven that. And I'm with Jenn. I want more goals. More goals. And I'm excited because we're talking to somebody in a little bit who also likes to score a lot of goals. We get to see her reactions, and so she loved that. She loved that comment in the background.
She definitely liked that comment better than all the Portland talk.
Yeah, she was not rolling her eyes the whole time for the Portland talk at all. No, she was just listening. She wanted to know. She was doing some prep for her game this week.
Jordan, can I tell you guys one quick story? You probably have heard this. Jeff, you probably have as well. But talking with Anson Dorrance at North Carolina, where, of course, Crystal Dunn played, and he told me this story, I don't know, I guess a couple of years ago, where he said he told Mark Parsons before Crystal ever came to the NWSL, and Mark was coaching Washington at the time. He said, do not play her in the back. Play her up front. Washington, they didn't play her in the back, right? They played her, or they did.
She played as a winger. No, she played as a winger.
Yeah. So
her first year, yeah.
Let's just look. Anson Koster, I get it. The national team is a different animal, but I just think let her score some goals. Okay, done my personal
done. Jen, I'm going to remove you from that soapbox just for a little bit. We're going on. We're moving to the other side of this rivalry, which is kind of fun because, and I called this one, Here Come the Rain Again. If you guys know music, you know that song. Clearly, I sung it perfectly, right?
Beautiful.
Jeff, first time we got to see OL Reign. What'd you think? You hyped about the rain?
Yeah, listen, I mean, we got big news today, right? We got finally confirmed news. It's been coming for a while. Jennifer Marjan and Sarah Bouhaddi coming to OL Reign on loan for the season, I think is obviously huge. It's a huge talking point. I think Marjan obviously huge for the attack. I think has the argument for one of the better or best playmakers in her generation. So I think that's a huge boost. Obviously, 0-0 to start there against Houston. Look, one game in, we mentioned we've seen 2 games from some. Maybe 2 games in, you can say we've got a trend of something. 1 game in is a little bit tough, obviously. So, look, got a point. Obviously, a big game, as Jen said, against Portland coming up here, where you flip that into 3 points if you're the Reign, and things get interesting in the West. So I'm excited. I'm hyped to our segment point about these signings, and I'm hyped to. I'm gonna shut up because we've got a guest from the Reign that I think would have far better insight into the outgoings there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get to Tziarra King's going to come on, you guys. I'm just going to throw it out there. Y'all know that already. We're going to have her coming up in the next segment. Jen, I want to know from your perspective, you've called a lot of international games. You've seen these women play coming into the Reign. What can these players add into a team that has a lot of good pieces, and this could elevate them to what we knew of this Seattle group back in the day?
Yeah, you think back the history of this franchise, they were a dominant franchise, early on with what they did as Seattle. And I think those players, certainly they add that big name, that big star quality, which this team clearly has, and several other players, Megan Rapinoe, Tziarra King, one of the fresh young faces people are excited about. But they, with Marjan in particular, proven scorer, right? I mean, this is a player that can get in there and make things happen offensively in the attack. And I know how she fits in, and we'll have some time to get used to it. But I just think, about OL Reign in general right now, I say TBD, because I think the way that teams handle this Challenge Cup is so interesting to me. What do you want to get out of it? And if you're not willing to gamble and take chances in a 4-game tournament, when are you going to do it? I mean, you've got the regular season where I could see you're going to stick to your philosophy and your style, and you're going to build, and it's a marathon and not a sprint, and yada, yada, yada. This is a sprint. So let's sprint and take some chances. There were not enough chances taken for me by either team in OL Reign's first match. Houston has clearly had some issues scoring. They were great in the Challenge Cup 2020. I'm sorry, I'm going back on the soapbox. I climbed right back up. I just think this game needs dangerous chances in the attack. I don't need every game to be 4-3. I need to see at least that many chances to create 4-3 score lines, and we're just not getting that consistently enough. So I'm curious to see which team, other than North Carolina, which has always proven that they're willing to be that team and press and take chances and gamble, who else is going to bring it and try to score some more goals? I think OL Reign can get there. That's not necessarily their style, but look, they're going to be a completely different team when you get Megan Rapinoe back in that mix. We all know that. So we'll wait. TBD.
Yeah. A little you want some more risk for some more reward. Yeah, is what you're asking for. I can't blame you on that. Do we have a thumbs up about our highlights for the next segment from our producer here, Dana? Do we have all right, we're gonna go with the highlights really quick. We're gonna go with, so we each picked a play of the week of what we've seen so far that got us hyped. And it's either something we've seen in this last week or something that's getting us hyped for the games that are upcoming. So I'm gonna go to you first, Jen. And I like that you picked a goalkeeper.
I did. Here I am talking about all of these take risks and score goals, but I gotta go with my roots. Goalkeeper, yes. I'm going to go with Ashlyn Harris, who did save a penalty kick in the last game. But I think even more impressive was what she did in the first game. But we'll go with the penalty. That's fine. It got me hyped. She stopped it because that could have obviously been a game-changing moment. Early, it was the 12th minute, I believe, of that game against Orlando. And she instead takes it and allows it, or against Gotham, excuse me, and takes the momentum back for Orlando in that game. So, got hyped about the PK save.
And you're a goalkeeper, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, so I like it. We got to give the goalies love sometimes,
yes,
because they do a lot of work back there. They talk to us a lot. They do, all the organizing things that keep us in the right places. So I like that you chose that. Also, how about her reaction at halftime? Well, that's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. So I did it. It was so Ashlyn Harris. I loved it.
I study PKs. This is what
I
do.
I study PKs. Okay, I'm going to go to mine next. And we're going to have Jeff come in last with his we didn't quite get the highlights for Jeff, so we'll save him for a second down the road. So we've seen a few teams play multiple times now. Well, we haven't seen North Carolina Courage play multiple times, and the player that I wanted to talk about, it's a goal that we saw in that North Carolina game, and it ends up being Kristen Hamilton, but it's really the assist from Dabinia, the second assist, that I am all about, because Dabinia is a player we saw her the last time we saw her play a full season, and everybody really play a full season was back in 2019. She had 8 goals and 7 assists. So this is a player who can open up defenses and really pull them apart, whether she's on the dribble or dishing a ball like that, dinking it over the top. I was all about the assists this week. There were some quality assists, and that one just being my favorite one. Let's see if we get another look at it here. And Kristen Hamilton, good to see her right back to where she is. Here's a dink. She going the opposite way across her body, flips it up and over the outside back. I mean, is that better Dabinia play? I mean, that's exactly what we see from her week in and week out, right? So that was my favorite. And I know, Jeff, you also were keen on a goal that had one of the assists that I liked. It was in the Washington game. You want to just talk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, game winner for the Spirit against Louisville midweek last week. Trinity Rodman finding Ashley Sanchez. I think an exciting combination up there. Obviously, one that Trinity Rodman scoring 4 minutes into her pro debut in the game before that, and you look at that. I think in a league that has teams have struggled to have continuity in their roster at times, and obviously this is the challenge with building a young team is keeping it. But 2 players that you can build around for the foreseeable future, let's call it, 2 young players, and combining in the way that they do, 2 exciting players. Like you said, no highlights. Sorry, folks. I was late on my request for this one, but just to really, you have to be excited if you're a Spirit fan. Honestly, I feel like, we talk about getting hyped. I feel like most NWSL neutrals were hyped watching that because it was fun. It was fun to watch.
Awesome goals, good PK save, and I do want to say Surfer Dude 24 was saying that Tori Huster had the play of that, and I agree with that second assist that Huster just chopped up the defender. Really, really good work from her. Thank you guys all for sticking around through this first segment. We got there eventually, and we're going even farther. In this next segment, we're going to bring Tziarra King in with us, member of the OL Reign. So we will be back right after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody, to NWSL Live. Thanks for spending your Monday evening with us. And when I say us, Jeff and Jenn and I are very excited to bring in our guest today. We have Tziarra King from OL Reign. So good to see you, Tziarra. Yeah. Hold on one second. Let's wait till everybody gets in the stream because I know that if we can't see you, there we all
All
are.
right.
Tziarra,
Hi,
how are
everybody.
you?
Good. How are you? Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you. First game under your belt. It's got to feel good after such a long off season to be back playing again.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a long off season, with the fall series ending, so much time until the longest preseason of all time. And finally being able to play again has been awesome. So absolutely.
Well, Z, I wanted to ask you, it seems like your personality has been on display from like the second you stepped on the field. And I know that in broadcasting, at least, I feel like it takes a little time. You kind of have to get your feet wet before you really get comfortable and show that personality, but not so for you on the field. Where does that come from? And kind of how did you develop your style of play?
Wow, that's a great question. I think it just kind of developed over the years, just like building confidence, just, continuing to have people hype me up. And I'm a big, like, I love the hype. I love hyping other people up. So I think that, like, energy just kind of follows me everywhere I go.
Love that.
Well, we like to get the sort of backstory of players on the show, where they started playing, what it was like, maybe turn it way back to youth ball. I mean, what was your introduction to the sport? Do you have a crazy funny story? I mean, some people kind of started not even liking
Yeah.
soccer. What was your intro?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say it's that funny. I mean, I have two older brothers, 5 and 6 years older than me. And so by the time I came around, they had done all the sports, tried all the things, and they were like, soccer is what we like. And so I was like, all right, cool, soccer is what we're doing. And so I, danced and played soccer when I was younger. And then there was a point when I had to decide which one I wanted to do more serious, and soccer was the winner.
Well, that's it. Dance and soccer. I think that speaks
I
to
know.
what Jenn says because they both are a rhythmic sport in some ways. Like soccer, I
Absolutely.
feel like when I watch you play at times, you feel the game. Is that when you feel like you're the best? Is when you're feeling the beat of what the game is giving you?
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because I almost feel like a different person when I'm on the field. Like even after the game, like my teammates will be like, "Oh, that pass was so good." I'm like, "I don't even remember it, but thanks." Like that's just like I don't know, like I kind of lose my everything and just kind of throw myself into it. So definitely just kind of go with the flow.
Hmm.
I have two questions here. First, what kind of dance did you do?
That's a great question. So I did ballet, tap, and jazz.
Okay, fully expect that Marissa Pilla is going to find some photos and be asking you for them sometime soon on a broadcast.
Sounds
we'd love
good.
to see that. And then my second question was just looking back for you, in New Jersey. Now, you played your club team was all girls, right? Or were there boys on the team as
Yep,
well?
all girls.
All girls. But who's got the most goals in the history of that club, boys or girls?
Ooh,
Still you, right? At least, look, I busted out my old notes from when you were at NC State.
wow,
Right
that's
there.
a throwback. So yeah, my high school team. There was a boys and girls high school team, and I am the leading scorer, I guess, in high school. Allie, you want to make an appearance?
Yeah, get in here. Who we got?
Allie Long, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh gosh.
Hi.
No way.
I just heard she was the leading goal scorer in high school. So happy for her.
Get out of here.
Hey, Allie.
Not surprised.
But yes, in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little upset that my board was factually incorrect and said club in high school, but
It was close.
Story is so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was close. One of the other things that I noted about you too is you played futsal. You're like a really good futsal player.
I love futsal.
Do you still play in the office?
No, I don't. I haven't in a long time, and I look at my shoes in my closet every day, and I'm like, I miss you, but like there's like nowhere to really play.
All you need is Allie Long knows all the futsal things.
All right, bet. I'm gonna have to hit her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great story of Ali playing in the New York City leagues with, I don't know if it's actually futsal, but it's indoor.
Okay.
What what about last year? I mean, you were a rookie. I had this conversation with a coach recently, and he was saying like rookies last year had the most unique rookie experience you could possibly imagine. And
It was strange.
did that? I guess the point being made was that it almost forced them to gain maturity and experience. Maybe not saying that they didn't have it or you didn't have it, but what do you think you took from last year that you maybe could apply or just wouldn't have expected, beyond the obvious of the pandemic? Do you think that it did something for your game in any way?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it was cool to kind of get my feet wet a little bit, in a situation that I guess wasn't as high pressure, you could say. And then I think also like just the turnaround of like the games and the Challenge Cup last year, it was like, be ready, recover properly, all of those things. So I think that definitely there kind of was a mindset piece where like you had to be tuned in at all times.
Yeah. One of the things that I find interesting too, and I've been in that place where I've gone from one team to the next. You get traded, and it's an emotional experience, and I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Absolutely.
Can you bring us into what that was like when you, just how you process those things? Because it's almost as if you are balancing this idea of, okay, they don't want me, but they really want me too.
Absolutely. That right there was like nail on the head right there. Like when I got the call, I kind of was like, whoa, all right. It was definitely a shocker. Like I was feeling good. I was excited. This was about a month out before I was, getting ready to head back out. And so that kind of like changed my whole plan, my whole, everything kind of got rocked. So, when, I had heard from Bill, he was kind of saying like, we're really excited to have you and all these things. And it kind of, built me back up again. But I definitely was like, whew, a little salty, but it is what it is. It's and at that point in time, I kind of chalked it up to like it's business. Business is business. Like you got to do what you got to do. But I realized like a few weeks into preseason that really I never gave myself the space to process what was going on and how I felt as a person and not like as a pawn in this game. And when I really took the time to do that, I felt like I kind of relaxed more and fell more into my position here. So,
My gosh, have we all not learned how to like process things so much more? I feel like the emotions of this past year on just so many levels. Good for you because you have to take that time, right? I can imagine how challenging it's been. So I want to ask you because I love to dig up the silver linings. So can you give me one good silver lining story? It can be off the field, on the field, anything, just kind of from this past year.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many. Like between like the people that I've met in Utah, the people I've met here, just great groups of people, like amazing individuals, just people that I feel uplifted when I'm around. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about sports, building that community and those friendships. So I think that's huge silver lining.
Well, I know we're a little short on time, so I want to ask Jordan had a fun one in here that I'll have to steal from her, I guess. But there was an interesting piece that you did on Beats and Rhymes, talking about music in your life.
Yes.
You talked about dancing. So, I mean, let's talk music a little bit. Like, what are you jamming out to? What do you need in your headphones?
Ooh, it really depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like anything really that has bass in it, like will shake your eardrums a little bit, like you can feel the vibration in your locker room chair type. That's kind of what I'm going for. So really, mostly rap I feel like is what I go for. But it really just depends.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that piece. I shout out to Christian Brooks. I did an interview with him on Beats and Rhymes FC in 2014. So I love his pieces, right? When he talks to you about what you love. What really stuck out to me was strength, courage, and wisdom.
Yep, right here.
I love that India Arie song. Love it. So good. So I felt like we were connected on that piece.
Love it.
really connect.
Absolutely.
So looking at this season, I feel like we do need to talk just about how what you as a person, player, what your goals are for this year, because you do have almost another fresh start. You were a rookie last year, got a fresh start there, now a fresh start again before we get into a few last questions.
Yeah, without a doubt. We have a lot of depth on this team. We've got the talent. And so I'm so excited to see that all come together. Trusting, our leadership and trusting the decisions that are being made, and just looking to grow as a player and be ready when I'm called upon, and make my impact and all of those things. So yeah, I'm just excited to continue to grow, and like you said, another fresh start, new experience. So yeah, I'm just excited all around.
See, is there one thing about your game that that maybe you feel like is going to surprise some people that they haven't seen yet, or you haven't gotten to fully show off yet?
Yeah, it's so funny because last year both my goals were headers, and me and my college coach Tim have this running joke because all 4 years of college I never used my head, never scored a goal with my head, and so it's funny because like people are like, "Oh yeah, she's like so good with her head," and we literally crack up because I'm like, I don't even know where that came from, but just like I think that just my unpredictability on the ball. Just my like spur of the moment decision making, like I kind of said, just like really go with the flow and read the game, and I think that that's something that stands out about the way that I play.
Yes, I'm totally taking notes for Wednesday. Sorry.
Yeah. This is prep, and it's also good to know Tziarra. So I love that. There's been a lot of love for you in the chat. Ray84 said, watching Tziarra play is a vibe. I think, yeah. Ugh, I knew you would feel that one. I knew
my
you
heart.
would. I know. Best. We're gonna go to some rapid fire. Is that cool? Because I feel like
let's get it.
we're gonna get you a few different questions. I'm gonna go actually to someone from the chat first, which we haven't done this yet. We're switching it up. J Mills 1996 wants to know best futsal squad you've played with.
So our club team, we had a team, Winslow Tigers. We used to break ankles. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to find the highlight tape and put it online because it used to be crazy. That group that I had, if we ever make a reunion and come back together, it's gonna be crazy.
Love it.
So Winslow Tigers, my club team, 100%. Sorry, that was not rapid fire, but
that's all right. We'll start now. That was it. We switched it up. So, yeah, you go. Jeff, Jen, and then me. We'll go in that order.
All right. What about we love talking fashion on this show. So, what's favorite clothing brand? Favorite style right now?
Favorite clothing brand? Goodwill. I love Goodwill. I love thrifting secondhand. That is my go-to.
Lori is going to be upset that she missed this show because we had a whole thrifting chat with Sarah Gordon last year.
Yeah, I was thinking Sarah Gordon and Z thrift show would be fun.
Oh, that would be fire.
Okay.
I'm going to have to text her.
I want to see that happen. Also, okay, I'm going to go back to music and in my softball mode a little bit. What would your walk-up song be?
Oof. I would have to go, it's a throwback, Itty Bitty Piggy by Nicki Minaj. Wild song, but just so hype. Yeah. Like you can't listen to that song and not get hype.
I feel like it's that's perfect for you. Perfect. Have you ever have you seen Van de Sanden from the Netherlands?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. If you could do your hair a different color, or like, is there a next color that you want to dye your hair?
I've done so many already. I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe like a blue.
Ooh.
A blue, a green. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
You got to keep people on their toes.
Absolutely. All right. Last one. I'll go last one. Team with the cutest pet. Or teammate with the cutest pet. I know. It's gonna be hard.
I have to go with my roommate McNabb, Kristen McNabb. Her dog Ren, we have a connection.
Mm,
Love me some Renly. So Kristen McNabb has the
yeah,
cutest dog.
yeah. Actually, Jen, I think you had one more about the whiteboard, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm ready. What do you want to
Put your
see?
artistic skills to use. How about in honor of your college team? You guys give me your best wolf. You got a wolf
Oh boy. Okay.
or a paw? You could go with a paw if you wanted to just fail out.
Uh,
A
okay.
paw.
Well, we gotta go with the ears. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
now we can.
I'm right in the glare. This way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Attention to detail.
Ears. Connect that. A little face. I don't know, some teeth
There we go.
Yep.
Fierce.
and some eyes. Oh man, this is bad. Uh, uh, uh,
Just write NC State by it.
There you go.
Show us the close
Or
up.
we
You
can
can move your
good.
computer.
go back.
There we go. Shout out
Yeah.
Wolfpack.
Yep. Oh. Nailed it.
I
Can you
didn't
take
get
a
the,
picture?
I
Can you
didn't get
take
the
a
artistic
picture of that
gene.
and
Yeah, I can do that.
send it out loud out on the web, on the web space.
Absolutely. I'm not the most artistic, but hey, I tried.
Yeah,
Me either.
someone in the chat, Clarker said we need Bob Ross. Maybe we do. Maybe it's Sarah Gordon and Z doing fashion and also learning how to draw with Bob Ross.
Yes.
Z, it's been so great to chat with you. Thank you for spending a little bit of your Monday, and we can't wait to see
Absolutely.
your team
Thank
play
you.
this week. We know it's going to be a
super
big one.
excited. Yes, 100%. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, we'll be back with a preview of that game and all the rest in just a few minutes. We're back. I wasn't ready. Welcome back, you guys, NWSL Live. You know I always keep you on your toes, whether my mic is muted or not. Well, today it was me just biting my fingernails. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Tziarra King. Man, is she funny, genuine, humble, and also hungry to do more things. I really liked that conversation. All right, let's bring the guest back in. Jeff Kassouf of Equalizer Soccer. Jenn Hildreth, your play-by-play voice of NWSL on CBS. Some games this week, big games. We're going to see every team now play that second round of games. I'm going to go to you first, Jenn. When you're looking at the schedule, what's the game in the next 2 days that you've got circled, highlighted? Can't wait. You might have a vested interest in it, so...
I do have a vested interest, but I think I would have it circled anyway. Yes, Cascadia Rivalry 2021 Challenge Cup edition. Here we go. Stay up late with us on Wednesday night on CBS Sports Network for OL Reign at Portland. We've talked about Portland being the team to beat, perhaps not just in the West, but in this tournament, for sure in the West. And I think, will we see the national team players back for both teams in full effect? Will the coaches feel like they're ready to start? Will they be bringing them off the bench? Are we going to see Megan Rapinoe in the NWSL for the first time since 2019? I mean, there are huge storylines going into this game. And I think OL Reign, as I said before, little TBD in terms of what this team's going to look like, what they're going to choose to be. And I, for one, would love to see Tziarra King, not just because she was on this show, but I'd like to see her in the starting lineup. It's one of the questions I have when we speak with them as to the choices that were made in terms of lineup last week and how that might change. So, I think Portland's playing well. They're going to have to figure out how to adjust, bringing all those players back in. It's a good problem to have, but I think that game with a lot of star power on both sides and a rivalry should be fantastic.
That's 10 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS Sports Network on Wednesday. We know that. We know that there's also going to be fans in Portland, which I know you're probably excited, Jenn, that you get to call that game again with some fans at Providence Park. So a lot to look forward to there. Jeff, there's 3 other games. Give us a little preview of what you're looking forward to in these games.
Yeah, a busy midweek. So get the late night coffee ready, I guess, especially Jenn for that late game, which is a big one. But I think looking into the middle of the country, Chicago versus Kansas City. It's only the second game here for Kansas City, excuse me. And I think interested to see. I thought they were gritty. Showed some flashes of some things in Portland. And particularly this game with the, I don't want to say addition of Kansas City, but the return of the Kansas City market, let's say, and the addition of Louisville. I know that sort of, those 3 teams have tried to hype a little bit of, creating a rivalry a little bit more geographically close, obviously, certainly more so than some other cities. So I think from that perspective of, teams trying to create some rivalry, that should be an interesting one to see how that develops. I'm not one to immediately use that term on a sort of brand new matchup, but I think it can be created rather quickly. So I think this would be a interesting starting point for that.
Yep, that all starts on Wednesday for them. That game got moved to Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Paramount+. There's a game on Tuesday, Gotham FC hosting North Carolina Courage. The second time we're going to get to see the Courage play and Gotham as well. That's at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. And Wednesday, you also have Orlando Pride hosting the Washington Spirit, 7 p.m. on Paramount+. Guys, 4 games this week. A lot to chat about when we come back next week. Jenn won't be with us. Sorry, Jenn.
It was fun.
Lori will be back. Lori will be back.
Get Lori.
Yeah, we're gonna get Lori back, and we're gonna preview those games right before the kickoffs on Monday night. So it'll be a fun way to kick off NWSL action on Monday. So Jenn, it has been so great to have you. Thank you for being our guest here on NWSL Live.
Anytime. Always happy to join you guys. Love talking NWSL, and hopefully this got everybody a little fired up for the week.
Yes, absolutely. Jeff, Jenn, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching, everybody out there on Twitch. And we'll be back again next week, Monday night, 5 p.m. You can find us here for Dana Rubin, who also did a great job as our producer tonight. Thank you guys all. That's it. We're out of here. Peace. Good night.